Hello, and welcome to live streaming with Restream, your exclusive access to all of the latest live streaming solutions Restream has to offer. Are you a marketer trying to wrap your head around live video? Are you curious about how live video can help you create case studies, brand stories, and customer success stories around your brand? Let us know if in the chat if you work in marketing, are part of a marketing team, or are simply looking to involve and promote your own business with live video. Today, we're talking about live video and customer stories and how they can help you build case studies that you can use to promote your product.
Hi, Sean. How are you today?
Oh, I am doing fabulous. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood, as they would say.
Absolutely. Well, did you know that the best person to sell your brand or sell your product are the people that don't even work for you? Like, don't even work for us at all. Our best salesperson or your best salesperson is an existing customer who's been wowed by your customer experience or your incredible 24/7 live chat support, or really loves your product and tells everyone they want to tell everyone they meet about it. In fact, we're going to share how our own marketing team here at Restream uses live video, uses our own product to tell our customer stories. So we use it to showcase our customers doing incredible things with video, which we will talk about here in a minute. We use it to build case studies for brand and even published an ebook on the topic, which we'll be dropping in the chat as well. And then we're also hosting things like this, like our live Q&A, in which we get to know how everyone is live streaming. And so people like Sean and I, who work here at Restream, we can talk about how, you and the audience there are using live video to build your own business. And also, everything you need to launch your own live show is here for you right here at Restream.
It's very true. Thank you for that beautiful intro. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop that link into the chat for that 5 live video use cases that our marketing team put together. It's a beautiful e-publication that has lots of really great informational pieces about how different customers have benefited from using Restream to push a specific topic of conversation or to really engage with their customers live. It's a
Yep.
beautiful opportunity. It also really brings focus to the use cases and the success that their customers have been having while using Restream. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm a fan, and not just because we helped write it. But anyway, at least I can see behind the name of the customer support. Greetings from Brazzaville. Greetings.
Ooh, wow. That's
Well,
awesome.
yeah. Well, anyway, thank you. But let's get to know our audience, Sean. I'm going to drop this into the. So, hey, drop like all of you watching. If you know someone that's live streaming or interested in live streaming, or someone looking to market a product, market a brand, get started, host their live show, tag them in the comments here and let them know that we're going live. Send them a text message, right? Tell them we are here because we are here to talk about how we ourselves at Restream use live video to tell our own customer stories, but we're also here to answer your questions. But I just
Mm.
dropped in the chat, like, to let us know. Oh, we can even play the flag game. Let us know in the chat where you are from.
It's
So
true. And we are currently streaming on YouTube, our Facebook page, our Facebook community group, as well as LinkedIn simultaneously. So there's a lot of people who could potentially be benefiting from this content, and we can really engage with all of those different places at the same time. So don't hesitate, reach out to us and drop a location of where you're currently watching from.
and drop your questions in the chat. I'm gonna drop them. You're watching live video happening as, like as like it's happening. This is how it is. So, Sean, how are you this morning?
Oh, it's a beautiful day here. It's actually I live in Tennessee, so the weather is predictably hot and humid. However, we have a little bit of overcast today, so it's humid with a chance of rain. Always a great opportunity.
So, oh, we've got a comment coming in. I think this one's for you.
Oh, I do appreciate the comment on our support. I am the support manager here at the Restream support team for the USA. So I do appreciate that you are acknowledging the value of our support team. We work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to answer your questions and bring confidence to your live streams. It's a passion we have to support our customers, and it's great to see that you're acknowledging and witnessing that firsthand.
Absolutely. And I'm Grace Duffy. I'm on our marketing team and I'm the video content manager. So I bring a lot of those stories to life. So, oh, here's a question. We've got our first question.
Yeah.
Mike asks, I have questions on how I go lives on Facebook through Zoom meeting. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
All
that's
right,
a
Sean, you want to take
It's a
this one?
big question. I love that. So to kind of boil that down to the most basic terms would be that Zoom has a functionality known as broadcasting. And that means that Zoom supports Restream, where you can input the RTMP details of your Restream account, excuse me, into the Zoom meeting itself during the meeting creation process. At which time, inside the Zoom session itself, while it's happening, you would be able to click the broadcast button and it would send that content to Restream. Once Restream receives it, then we would be able to multicast it and send it out to the destinations on your account. Now, there are other ways of doing that integration with a little bit more steps. If you have the premium or business plan, there is an additional function where you can bring Zoom directly into the Restream Studio, at which point you can add overlays and different graphics and video playback before the content goes out to your destinations. I would highly recommend contacting our support team so that they can give you a one over of how to make that integration seamless, as well as how to make sure that you're very, very satisfied with how the integration is working. And we can even help you test in advance so that you have all the confidence in the world.
Thank you, Sean, for that answer. So, all right, well, keep your questions coming. In the meantime, we're going to carry on with our plan for the show. Today, we are talking about using Restream for customer storytelling. But again, we're here to
Mm.
answer anything and everything you want to know about Restream or live streaming. So, continue dropping those questions in the chat.
Oh, hello, Daniel. It is nice to see that you're watching this stream. I do believe we are someone who I speak with you frequently in the support team, so I appreciate you dropping in and giving us a watch here. Be sure to send this link out to your friends and family as well, so that they can get on here and actually ask questions as well if necessary.
Absolutely. So let's kick off the show, Sean, with talking about
Mhm.
how we use live shows to reach and engage our audience through storytelling. You ready?
I am totally ready. Are we going to be displaying some of the content we've shared in the past with some of our own content
Yeah.
creators?
Yeah,
Oh, that's pretty
absolutely.
awesome. I'm going to go ahead and bring that content in here and get rid of these overlays so they don't. Oh, thank you for that.
Oh,
Co-hosting,
absolutely.
we can help each other. It's the best feature of the studios. You don't have to go it alone. Create a
Absolutely not.
team and all that so that you can have the support of the people you're streaming with.
I don't think I ever go live by myself, ever.
I love streaming with people because then I get the opportunity to bounce conversation off of them. Otherwise, I'm reliant on my own personality to motivate and move the story forward, and that's sometimes risky, right? What happens when you hit a brain wall and you're like, "Oh no, I need somebody else here to fill in the conversation." You know,
Well,
it's so important.
as we talked about before the show, you just fall out of your chair and pretend the stream's over.
We have a plan for that. It's
We
always good
do.
to make a plan,
We did always have a
and
plan.
and there's beautiful overlays and video options for when chaos happens. You can have a plan. So that's a beautiful truth.
Absolutely. But okay, I've gone really off topic here. I wanted to showcase this is our YouTube channel over on YouTube. It's a Restream channel over on YouTube. And this is where we are, where hopefully you're watching us live too. Well, it says upcoming because I haven't refreshed it since the show started. But then that would get really confusing because then we'd see ourselves on camera and I think we might just like, fall out of our chairs. Sean, I promise I'm gonna stop saying that.
My chair doesn't have handrails. I feel like I'm playing it risky.
You are playing it risky. YOLO, you only live once. Anyway, off topic. So we have a stream here at Restream called Creator Spotlight, in which we highlight our customers doing amazing things with live video. And so this is a playlist. This is where you can find it. So, we have Ask a Traffic Cop, who we hosted him last week. His name is Police Constable Sean Shapiro, and he works for Toronto Police Services. And I had some so he's a really cool story of ours, actually, Sean. Also, Sean. He is. I met him at a conference, a virtual conference in 2021, and he literally came to every Q&A session I had, and he had every question there was about live streaming. He was about how to get started. He wanted to start doing it for more of a police safety and education for his community there in Toronto. And within a year of live streaming, he has grown to over 1.13 thousand subs on YouTube, subscribers on YouTube, and an impressive 600,000 followers over on TikTok. And what does he do every day? He live streams every day from 10 to 11 Eastern AM, and he just asks questions, does what we're doing here, and it's called Ask a Traffic Cop. So we got to highlight him doing that. The week previous, we had Madeline Mann. She's helped over thousands of clients land their dream jobs because of her expertise in hiring, HR, coaching, and she's also an interesting story. See, I get so caught up in our customer stories because they're so cool. I so she started so she was working her dream job. She was in HR department, but then she started like seeing all these questions and about people looking to get hired. So she took her expertise and she started a YouTube channel, and then she started a live show. And the way that I found her, well, I found her at a conference. Like we met at a video conference, but I it was a few months had passed and I saw her on LinkedIn and she was doing this master class. And it was a 5-day master class. Basically, I forgot what it's called, but it's like how to upgrade your career, right? It was just a coaching on like how to interview, how to get started. And it was a vehicle to sell her, coaching programs, right? But for the 5 days, and it actually goes to 9 days because there's 4 extra days, don't tell anyone. But, she gives that extra bonus of like 9 days straight of going live, and the audience engagement is crazy. And she has repeat people coming in every I don't know quite how often she does it, but she has repeat people coming over and over and over again, right? We've also had the pleasure of interviewing Tim Sohn, who is a friend of mine. So he created this 24-hour live stream for the Lymphoma and Leukemia Society, and it was 24 hours of streaming over like different hosts, different entertainment, different things, and they raised thousands of dollars. And he actually won an award for this live stream. So I had the pleasure of interviewing him. And these are all just people doing what they're doing. Our shows follow the same format every single um here, I'll take this off. So, our shows follow the same format every time I do one. They're pretty simple. So it's like I have them tell their story, right? So the stories that I'm telling you now, we talk about their live stream setup, or how did you get started? How do you do this? Do you have what kind of promotion are you doing? How do you get people in? And then, I ask them their favorite stories about their customers. And then also the big question of it is why? Like, why live streaming? Why live video over anything else you could be doing in marketing? So those are just some examples of how we at Restream use our own product, use our own tools to tell our customer stories, and then even then talk about how they are using our products and our tools to bring the good in the world, or bring this change, or bring this. And it is really impactful when you start thinking about, we think when we start thinking about this tool, this product, and what it can do beyond you and I sitting in our home studios, right?
I love that. I love the perspective of the power of storytelling because really what we're experiencing with live streaming or and you mentioned TikTok and these different resources, it's storytelling. We're telling stories. We're building a community, we're bonding with people, and I really appreciate the perspective that you give that live streaming is marketing. It is product promotion, but it's done through personal engagement with the connectivity that you still establish with your customers, with the people who are tied to your brand and have their own personal life experience tied to streaming, and how all of that comes together to almost form like a multi-level marketing campaign where your customers become your product storytellers, and that story goes on to affect potentially thousands of people and their decisions with and around your product. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful opportunity, and it sounds like that you've had some opportunities really come forward from trade shows and different places where you've met people, made connections, and then went on to help them market and promote their product while using Restream. That's a beautiful opportunity. That's really cool.
Well, and I wanted to call out Sean Shapiro, who we interviewed for about his Ask the Traffic Cop, actually dropped in to say hi. So he is one of our super fans. And I am a super fan of Sean Shapiro, by the way. So not to take you away from this show, but please look Ask a Traffic Cop, hashtag Ask a Traffic Cop anywhere. You'll be, even if you don't live in Toronto, it's still just amazing. And he is like the nicest, like the nicest and most, and it was really interesting. And I hadn't really thought about this till we talked to him last week. Excuse the audible, Sean. But the fact that there's so much like misunderstanding or negativity around what he does, which is police work, and it's his opportunity. He can go out there and just be like, no, this is how it is, whatever, or you can show people, right? You can tell people or you can show people. So in what he's doing, he's bringing a lot of positivity. He's bringing a lot of, I would say positive, but like also giving back and also showing how we're building this community effort. Oh, he says, oh, shucks, thank you so much. Right. So, but yeah, it brings this sense of, look at this, like this thing I'm doing for the community, or look how we're helping each other. And, and I know that he's been an inspiration to other police forces who've been reluctant to be public because of the outcries or whatever. And sorry, we had a alert come up in our studio. Sorry. And it's been really great to see that it's not only just inspiring the people in his community, but it's inspiring other people that do what he does and other cities to also go live to show how they're helping the community, and show that like, no, we are like, this is how we're impacting things.
Definitely. And we just had a request from somebody to share the option for pre-recording content or doing a premiere recording. So
Uh-huh.
with the Restream Studio, you can pre-record. You can use the record only mode, and it will create a opportunity like this where the media was pre-recorded. You didn't stream it live, but you did use the studio to create it. And then you can go through and use this functionality to go ahead and create a schedule the stream. So I can actually take a pre-recorded content that we uploaded or that was recorded with the studio and actually create a scheduled event with that media. It's virtually seamless and also will promote that content in advance. If you set it a couple of days early, it will do a posting on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn to be able to promote it in advance so that people can register to watch and not get an opportunity where they have that FOMO where they feel like they've missed out. So most definitely an option that you can use with the studio. I hope that answers your question regarding how to do a premiere.
Was that Micah?
That was Micah.
How can I do a premiere recording? So, and this is actually a good tactic too. Like I'm in Central, you're in Eastern time zone here in the US, but we have customers all over the world. So we could easily take this video and rebroadcast it 12 hours from now and
Hmm.
reach a whole other audience too. So we can
Oh,
then
that's brilliant.
we can also entertain those people, Sean.
Well, I'm going to set that up after this stream is over so that we can go ahead and entertain the masses. I love that idea.
And you pinned another question here. Let's address that one.
Oh, Can I broadcast two different types of channels with two different broadcasts with the same account? Great question. I want to make sure I understand it completely. Are you wanting to take two different types of media, so maybe two different videos, and transmit them simultaneously to two different places with one account? I'm assuming that's what you meant. I do want to preface this that each Restream account is capable of receiving or processing one stream of media. So what it sounds like you would need is two Restream accounts. So if you had two Restream accounts, you would be able to have two source materials go out to different locations. So depending on how many sources or what is traditionally called an ingest, you would want to make sure that it is dependent on that account. So one source, one output to many places. So I hope that answers your question.
And if not, let us know. Ask us another one. We'll be here.
It's true. It's very true.
Yes, please drop in any more questions you might have. We're just going to keep rolling on here, Sean. So let's talk about gosh, where I got lost in our run of show, Sean.
It's so good. I think we're really at a point where we can talk about making your shows timely and eye-catching. So, what do you feel brings a stream and makes it eye-catching or interesting? I know that for me, I like it when there is a really developed material of question and answer. I really like the engagement that comes from that when a customer asks a question live and that live stream takes a turn in a direction no one was expecting because of the engagement of the customers. I think that's really a positive thing. It really helps with the engagement. And for a lot of platforms, especially platforms like LinkedIn, that engagement is a requirement of the content you're creating. They want that engagement. They want it live. They want it immediately, something that the customers are engaging with live. That's really the purpose of this media form, is to get your questions answered. And so that's, I think, what makes it interesting for me and engaging for me, is knowing I love it when people say my name on the stream. Like if I join somebody's TikTok and they're like, "Hey, so and so, it's nice to see you." I love that. It makes me feel so connected.
It's a good use for building community too, because as you go live, and you do a regular cadence, whatever that might be for you, once a week, once a month, once a day, right? Yeah, just you start seeing the same people showing up, supporting you, and to be able to call them by name, know their stories, like remember week to week that, oh, this person says this, or this person has to say that, or this person works in this type of industry. And I think that's a good way to also build community around your brand, which is so important these days.
Oh, it's so true. I was just speaking with some of our marketing people earlier today about copy and creating, publications and such for our business. And there's so many steps involved in just creating a print piece of media. I mean, you have to have the design concept, you have to have it approved, it has to go to our proofing editor, make sure everything's correct. And it takes so much time just to do one process. Whereas when we go live, it's fluid, it's dynamic. We're able to react on the fly, make mistakes, and backpedal from those mistakes. And so with that, I feel that the speed at which live content can be produced and distributed is its singing glory. That's what the main purpose is of live content, is how fast you can produce and distribute and make a impact for your product with almost no time involved at all.
Absolutely. So we do a lot of prep before the shows to think about, well, what's a good topic? What's it, getting the guest and everything. And then once you have all those things set up, it's really just about getting on camera and letting the magic happen. And then we do something else with our videos, which you kind of touched on a few minutes ago when you're showing our recordings, is you can then take these videos and repurpose them almost 1,000 different ways. So with our creator spotlight, we create audio links for Instagram stories. We create shorter clips, like 3 to 4 minute clips of talking points. We have even shorter little clips than that, and then those could turn into social posts. So one piece of content, so 1 hour of live streaming, turns into months of social media content that you can then continue to replay, continue to promote. You can continue to show, highlight your customers in new and unique ways. And also, just because you go live once, right? And this is hard for me as a content creator. Just because you go live once doesn't mean like everyone you know is tuning in. So, like, even so, if I was to rebroadcast this 6 months from now, of course, some of the features and different things might change, but you capture a new audience just by rebroadcasting this or reprocessing that content. So, it's not just to set it and forget it or just do it once and then never again. It is a renewable resource, I think, for marketing content.
And you really brought something to focus there, I think, in what you were just saying. Clips,
Yeah,
taking a snippet, just a small snippet of material from a live stream like this. Like, we may stream for an hour, but in that hour, there's probably a handful of beautiful snips, just little clips that can be used for tiny little marketing campaigns, especially for platforms like Twitter, where you can take a live video clip that you find very engaging and repurpose it and download it to your computer, clip it up into little pieces, and then reuse it in other ways, because we do offer the ability to reuse that content once you've downloaded it to your computer. And we also have a special way of downloading audio only versions of the recording to then promote on your podcasts. With very little effort, you can take a live stream like what we're doing right now and turn that into an audio podcast for a plethora of different platforms that aren't traditionally considered live stream worthy.
absolutely. Yeah, or just little clips and even like the bloopers. I found this hack, someone shared this in a group that I'm in, where in his videos he mispronounces a word. Like he'll just strategically mispronounce a word and people will just go back and rewatch the it just like let's say, we do a clip of that. People will go back and rewatch that content just to be like, what did you say? And then people can't help but correct you in the comments. So tiny hack. I know, we're here to talk about marketing principles, not tactics, but I thought that was just when you mentioned clips, I thought that was just a funny use for clips. I was like, oh, it's working for them. So I dropped in the comments of like, tell us who we should. So we've told you a little bit about the guests we have highlighted on Creator Spotlight, but we all know incredible people doing incredible things with live video. So tell us who you think we should be showcasing on our next creator spotlights. Drop their names in the comments, and who knows? Maybe you'll be seeing yourself on camera over here.
I love that. That's a great idea. And what a great way to stimulate content people want to have. By using the Restream chat feature to ask questions during your stream, you can glean specific material that people want. Get the questions answered from your customer base as far as what they want to hear or see. That's a wonderful way to get content that's engaging for the customer base that you have. I mean, nobody knows what your followers want to see more than your followers.
Absolutely. We've got a great comment here. It says, we close notes says we used Restream to grow our YouTube channel from 1,500 subscribers to over 30 or 6,300 in the past 2 years. That is amazing. That's amazing. Tell us how
Wow.
often you go live and what you live stream about. So we'd love to know in the comments.
That's a wonderful success story. What a beautiful
Oh,
opportunity that
they
what's
did
up? Did they
respond.
answer?
It said
Yeah.
it's helped us grow our podcast audience. No, that is amazing because we're talking about a one form of media using video and live video to grow one form of another form of content. And I've seen that a lot. And a lot of people take their live shows and turn them into podcasts as well. Or they go the reverse. They have a podcast and then they have like videos coming out of it. So there's a lot of variation. So tell us which one you do. We close notes.
They
Oh my
just
God.
responded. They are very active. That's awesome.
I focus on buying and teaching investors how to get started as a note investor. Awesome. And
Wow.
you have a podcast on that as well? Yeah.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
So
There was
here's
also a go ahead, yes.
we're a manufacturer of optics in Arkansas, and we are always online, aren't we all? That's amazing. Explore Scientific on YouTube.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I know optics are something that we use with streaming all the time. I'm sure that my camera has very fancy optics, and I bet that's something you're very aware of as far as the optics that go into making live stream high quality. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, let's turn our attention to some of these questions, Sean. What should we
Mhm.
tackle first?
Oh, I saw one about it looked like a delay. They were talking about 3-second delay on the streams. I'd love to tackle that question, actually. I
Okay,
pinned
yeah.
it. Let's take a look. So this is the question there. I'm new during connection. I always being late 3 to 4 minutes. How can I will be fast? So I think that you're asking about the delay between the content that like Grace and I are creating currently and the time that it takes for it to be live and viewable on the end platform. A couple of things about that. So there is processing that happens as the content is delivered. Restream prides itself on not modifying or changing the media as it passes through our service. Because we don't process it, it takes very little time, 3 to 5 seconds. Once it gets to the end platform, so YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of these different places, you would need to have a little bit of processing time on their end. And each platform is different. Some platforms do a lot of processing to add things like captions and different video resolutions for maximum viewability. Some platforms do less, so the time requirement on their side is different. Just keep in mind that your viewers really don't know that the media is delayed at all. They see it live from their perspective, and so they don't know that it's taking X amount of seconds or minutes to be visible to them. They only know their perspective. So when you join your stream and then you open YouTube or Facebook to see how you're doing, you're the only person who knows that it's slow.
Yeah. Although I did have to break the habit of opening up YouTube because I was like, "Oh, it's affecting my bandwidth, Sean." Like, because I'm going live and then I was opening this other thing that was live streaming, so it was like so oftentimes it's just better to just let the stream go.
Oh, it's so true. And I know that monitoring, listening to yourself can actually build anxiety. And Lord knows we need less anxiety when we're live streaming. So
We wouldn't
definitely,
know anything about that. Not at
I,
all.
I had to stop drinking the coffee. I was feeling like I was just drinking the anxiety juice sitting here. So I had to push it a little bit further away from me.
Oh my gosh. You are so funny. There's another great question here that I think we could answer together. This I'm really excited about answering because it's actually a new feature we rolled out recently. I have one more question. Can I broadcast directly through your website without using YouTube or Facebook?
Ooh, that's a great question. Yes, within the last few months, we did release a website player, a functionality that gives you access to stream the media directly from Restream to your personal or professional website. It's done through an iframe embed, so a very of compatible way of embedding something into your website. And with that, once you have purchased the plan, which we are doing a spiff right now, where if you purchase the professional yearly plan, it does come with the website player functionality, which would traditionally only be accessible in the premium or business plan. That is then going to go live when you stream. And yes, you can disable YouTube and stream directly from an encoder like OBS or Ecamm to your Restream account and go directly to your website. That is going to give you a set number of views per, concurrent views. So it depends on the plan that you have. So definitely check out our pricing page to see exactly how many viewers could watch your live stream on your website with the plan that you have. Uh-oh, muted.
Sorry. I muted myself so you wouldn't hear me typing because I actually dropped the link to how to stream to your website in the comments here. So
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
over on Facebook and YouTube. So this will take you to our help center site that will walk you through exactly how to do it. There's a video as well where you can watch and follow along that way. But it's a really powerful tool, and you don't even. I believe you can even just bypass social media. So it's a lot of like so, for instance, our friend Tim Sohn, who did his 24-hour live stream, he was having to create a new stream every couple hours, right? Because of streaming limits and everything. And so I was like, well, you could just stream on your website and just change out the link. And then everyone is just getting the website and he could like do all of his donations from there and then get information on the organization that he was raising money for. So that was a feature we had not rolled out when he had his 24-hour stream, but hopefully for his next one, he will use it because
Oh,
it's a very powerful use case for that.
What a powerful option. And what comes to mind is the ability to use our social alerts feature with your website, because you would actually be able to insert your website link into your social alerts, and those social alerts can go to Twitter and Facebook and Discord directly when you start your stream. So you can actually drive content on your website using existing social media services you may already have. And that's a feature that's included in all of our plans, even the free plan. So if you're interested in the social alerts option, it's located under the settings page.
So yeah, we already have a taker. Look, Explore Scientific says we run a simultaneous 24-hour restream of previous content. Yeah, there you go.
Wow, that's awesome. No, that is a really cool feature to be able to benefit from. 24 hours is a mighty goal. That is
Yeah.
a lot of content to have, and a lot of effort goes into pre-creating each of those events. So props to you. That's pretty awesome.
My immediate thought is always like, but when do you get to have snacks?
It's pre-recorded. They can have
It's
snaps the whole time.
You're right. You can have snacks anytime when it's pre-recorded. Oh, here's a good question. So, here, let me take our graphics off. So, it says, can we stream games on it? On
Oh, that's
the
a
I assume that he's talking about the web player since that's what we're talking about. Can we stream games with the web player?
Yes, absolutely. And with that, you can stream to your website using your own encoder like OBS or Ecamm. You can also go live with the Restream Studio. Very little setup. You can be streaming in minutes by using the Restream Studio, which is what we're using right now. And you can tell just from our stream now that there's lots of production value. You've got overlays, you've got cool little graphics. There's even a green screen effect if you need it, so that you can replace your background and make it look like you're currently streaming in Venice or anywhere that you'd like. You can really kind of change it up. I love when I see people using the feature and they all wind up looking like they're in the same office because they're all using the same graphic for the background of their green screen effect, which is just totally awesome.
We did it in a marketing meeting once where the team at Restream is spread all over the world, and so we were all using the same background, so it looked like we're in the same office. The little things we do to amuse ourselves, right?
It's very true. It's 100% true.
Absolutely. Oh, Happy Cloud Gamer says, "Oh, great for this great news." So, uh, uh, we're glad we're able to help. It said we run Black Magic Switch and Hyperdeck to accomplish this feat. Amazing.
Wow. So Blackmagic has a plethora of encoder solutions that are definitely compatible with Restream in a couple of different ways. We have lots of people who are using the ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Switcher, ATEM Mini blah 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 blah. There's so many different devices that ATEM or that Blackmagic has produced that makes streaming really just a great experience, especially if you come from a professional video production background. It can do things that you would really want to see from that perspective. And there is functionality that's going to be compatible with Restream, whether it's through RTMP streaming directly from the device, or you can use the USB connectivity to turn it into a webcam and a microphone input for the Restream Studio, making the setup even easier from day to day. I do love the idea of the hyperdeck. That just takes it and levels it up to the next level. So that's pretty awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. So, we've got uh, can I advertise my business products on live streaming? You absolutely can. You absolutely can. So tell us what products you sell. I'll give you examples. But for instance, like right now we're doing a live Q&A. This is something we do once a month, and it's usually collaboration between our support team, our marketing team, and our product team. And this is an opportunity for us to talk to our customers directly, also showcase the product because we are using it right now, and then we can also showcase the different things that we really like about it. So and what helps us do our job. So that's a good way. I know live selling is a huge thing right now, right? People are trying to figure that out, especially um, with websites like Amazon and TikTok and Instagram, all like promoting their shopping features. So and then YouTube, I think YouTube just announced the shopping usability too. So I mean, there's a lot of ways in which you can use live streaming to showcase your product, showcase an action. I also like when you can go behind the scenes. So a lot of people, Sean, like are we saw this a lot during the pandemic where they couldn't do the jobs they were doing, right? So, for instance, one of our friends, Tommy Reynolds, he's a photographer in the UK. We tell the story a lot, so I'm sure you've heard this many times, but it's still amazing. He wasn't able to do his job as a commercial photographer, and so during that time period, he used live streaming as a way to showcase behind the scenes, answer questions. If you've never worked with a commercial photographer or worked with a photographer, there's a lot of mystery of like, well, how do you approach this and what do you do about this and that? And so he did a lot of videos on how to, like, what to expect from a commercial shoot. What should you do? What does the setup look like? And answering all these questions. And of course, that was a couple years ago, but the effects are still there. I mean, people are still doing that now because everyone is always very curious about your product and they want to see it in action.
Very true, very true. And I know that you just were talking about e-commerce. I can't help but remember just a few weeks ago, Prime Day. Prime Day was huge. I know that in the support team, we were receiving lots of customer inquiries about, can I connect Restream to Amazon for the purpose of benefiting from live streaming while promoting products that you're selling? Which, what a cool way of making money is that? These aren't products that you personally had to create or invent, but instead you are promoting the sale of these items from your store and benefiting from the commissions that Amazon's providing. And just so that you all know, yes, we are compatible with Amazon's live streaming components. So absolutely you can use a custom RTMP destination, get it all set up, and then you can be promoting the products in your own store right on Amazon.
Yeah, I do that on a weekly show that I'm on. So we go live to Amazon and and it's not even a show. We're not even selling products on the show, Sean. It's about social media marketing, and but like our entire studio setup is up there, so people will get questions about our mics and our cameras all the time. If the person we are hosting or that is our guest that week has a book that they wrote, we put that in the carousel. What else? Like if they have if there's like something in particular, like some cool thing. One of our friends had this cool like R2D2 thing, kind of like what you have, in his background, and we were able to put that, and it was just, and all we did it through, we used Ecamm as the encoder, but we do all the multi streaming through Restream, and then that's what connected to Amazon. And there's a little bit of functionality. You do have to like press a button to go live on the app, but it's fairly. Once we got it set up, it is flawless. So absolutely take advantage of that.
Oh, that's awesome. We definitely had a couple of questions come through in the chat. I'm going to disable our overlay here so we can get to
Sure.
some of those questions. It
Yeah.
looks like this person here, Micah, was asking about the click notifications bell button. Yes, you can absolutely use the captions function to do a call to action where you're asking your viewers to follow, to click the bell and modify to see all of your postings, all of your content. That is absolutely a function within the Restream Studio that is super easy to set up in advance. You could even set it up so that there's a ticker across the bottom that's constantly reminding people to like and follow to make sure that you're
Yeah.
getting all of the viewership as much as possible. Oh, click the bell, click the
Click the
bell.
bell. Okay, I literally just typed this up as we were talking, but so I'll show you in our studio. Let me see if I can share. Oh yeah, you're gonna get a little bit of like that
Oh,
bizarro world experience. But so ignore this part. But you can see here that this is our captions, and these are everything we have preloaded. So the questions we're gonna ask you, this is where you'd have that ticker. So you can add as many tickers as you want. So you can add anything else like subscribe and and then you just click on it and it changes to subscribe. And you just
that's
hide it.
awesome.
And then this is also where we're bringing in your comments, by the way. So here's a question here. So it's like, is it possible to use donations, overlay donations for the stream? So we can answer that question. But anyway, so I just wanted to show everyone that's just how easy it is to just run this show and
It's
have a
true.
conversation and read comments and co-host here with my friend Sean. And we're trying to make it look as professional as possible.
Oh, professional. That's the goal in all of these situations. And yes, to answer your question about the donations alert overlay, absolutely. You can create and upload your own overlays to the studio. That's what we're doing when we're activating our name tags and our descriptors. Those are pre-created by our wonderful graphics team, and so that's what we're using to do that. And you could do the same with your own images. You could request specific dollar amounts. Set goals. You could pre-create overlays that say, like we have a goal of 25 followers this hour, we're going to get there, and with your help. And so that's really a functionality of the studio that's at its core level. We want to make sure you can create the content that drives your goals.
Absolutely. So, oh, here's another question, Sean. It says, "Can I use Restream Studio features like bringing people on a video call while live streaming via OBS?"
Ooh, that's a great goal. And there's a couple of ways to do that. OBS has a functionality for virtual camera where you would be replacing your video input with content from OBS, giving you functionality of the video component of OBS. You also could use the RTMP source functionality available on the premium and business plan to bring the source media from OBS directly into the studio. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing that with a guest. I would recommend just using the studio for the guest functionality. It's a feature that just brings so much value to the studio session itself. And by incorporating an external encoder like OBS into the studio and guests, man, that's a lot of moving parts to balance. And truly, the benefits of the studio are going to outshine OBS in the long run anyway, from the perspective of simplicity, ease of use, and lack of required setup in advance. It also is going to be your hub of your guests. It's going to give your guests the information they need for doing things like private messaging while they're in the green room to make sure that they're ready before the show starts. And that's not going to be something that's easy to do if you're also streaming from OBS at that same time. So
That's a really good point, Sean, because I think when you've got something like OBS, I'm streaming on a PC. I have a co-host that streams on a Mac, and it takes a lot of bandwidth from the computer. And so, the beauty of using Restream Studio is that it's cloud-based, and so all of my internet, once I get my children off the internet, that is also a bandwidth sucker. you know, all of my computer's power is just going into one stream, and that's what's taking it everywhere, right? And all the load, all of the stress is on this cloud in our browser based, and so it makes it a lot easier. So that's my personal recommendation. I know a lot of people like streaming with different things; they like the different effects. So, and it does work seamlessly with those encoders. So
absolutely. And, we've had a couple of people asking a few questions we can definitely hit on here. I'm going to bring up this question about the vMix has callers and graphics built in. It does. That's a beautiful opportunity. vMix is a paid encoder that you have to have a subscription to in order to maintain. But it does have additional features in it that are going to be unique to vMix or, similar to other products like it. And it does integrate directly with Restream. So we do have guides on how to get that connectivity going. We also have a request here for, can I stream to Amazon Live? Yes,
and I have an
absolutely.
answer for you. I just dropped this is an article from the Restream blog on how to set up your Amazon Live, but Sean and I can talk about it as well. So
Absolutely. Yes. Amazon Live is a feature you would need to connect. And with my knowledge of Amazon being limited at best, but I know that Grace has some great experience with Amazon Live, you're going to want to connect it with a custom RTMP channel on Restream that's a paid channel. So you will have to have a standard plan or above to have access to that channel. But once you've added it and you've gone live on Restream, I believe you do have to click a final go live function on the Amazon side to complete the connection. So that's going to be just one extra step after you've started your stream, either with Restream Studio or your external encoder. But then that'll be what allows your viewership on Amazon to start.
yeah, absolutely. And then also, I think there's also the added requirement of needing transcoding as well, because we we stream at such a high level, a high output. And I mean, you can downgrade it, and usually it'll do the downgrade like different platforms. But with Amazon Live, because you're using that app and it's mobile, it does like you do have to kind of downgrade the stream for it to go live. So you do need to get that transcoding. But that's something that's available through Restream. So we got you covered.
It's very true. I do love that transcoding feature, man. It really does allow you to send extreme content to, places like YouTube and then tone it down just a little bit for places like Twitch that have a little bit lower requirements for what they're capable of receiving in the realm of RTMP content or streaming content.
Absolutely. So we have a question here, Sean, about LinkedIn Live.
Ooh,
So I
good
would love
one.
to learn an easier way to use Restream on LinkedIn. Help. Please.
So that's a beautiful question. Thank you. Let's Talk Strategies for posting that here. You know, LinkedIn Live is a beautiful streaming platform, right? It really does balance the needs of the professional communities with the goals of live streaming media. So when you're saying that you are looking for easier way to use LinkedIn Live, there's really a couple different ways to stream to LinkedIn. And the easiest possible function would be to add the channel to your account and go live. No additional setup required. Just connect it and start the stream, whether it's from the studio or from an external encoder, your choice. When you start to get into more advanced functionalities of LinkedIn, when you're talking about utilizing LinkedIn events, so actually posting a posting for an event that's coming up in the future, or using pre-recorded content, those are going to be a little bit more steps, but they're still very simple. And we do have help center articles that are capable of guiding you through that process. The most advanced functionality, and the one I would steer people away from, is pre-creating the event itself on LinkedIn, then going backwards and connecting Restream to it. Totally possible. However, it really does lack the benefits that
Oops.
Restream offers. Oh, what are we doing? I love
Oh,
this.
sorry. I was preparing for the next question. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I did the
Distracted
same.
you.
I love
Distracted
it.
you.
No, you're fine. I love the distraction. But with the connectivity of Restream events to LinkedIn, you're really going to be able to benefit from features like the adding the thumbnail, alerting your followers that you're going to be going live, and then also you the functionality to at that same time create an event for Facebook and YouTube, really with just a few clicks. So I highly encourage the steps necessary to utilize Restream events with LinkedIn. I think that's going to be your go-to solution.
Absolutely. So I was actually preparing for this question. It's Micah was asking for support how to set up countdown timers. So we
Mm,
have a design team that created our very exclusive countdown intro and outro for us, and there's definitely resources out there for how to do that. But we have it built into our studio as well. So I was going to showcase that, Sean, if you don't mind.
certainly.
So here you'll go to the graphics panel. So I have all of these hidden because we have, not to distract us, but we do have like a default graphics, right? So we do have several countdowns that you can pick from here. So this is one of them. And then we have this one. And then there's is the most that's the one that last one was the one I use most often. So and then so I get the full screen. So a little trick that I do is I will press the countdown timer and then I hit go live. And then that allows us to it starts a stream. I like you like there's a lot of controversy, Sean, about using countdown timers. Some people are against them, some people are for them. For me, it's a little bit of a buffer because some of the channels start at different times. So like YouTube will sometimes take a little second longer, LinkedIn. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. And it's just a few seconds. And so I think it just allows all the feeds to catch up. And especially if you're going live to like Amazon or using RTMP, it gives it a little bit of time to catch up. And then later on, when you do the replay, you can actually cut that out, like so people watching the replay don't have to watch your countdown. But I like using a little buffer. Some people don't like it. Very controversial. I do not like getting into street fights about it. So I don't.
You know, there are some platforms that definitely want you to avoid using long
Yeah.
countdown timers. So like 30-minute countdown timers
Oh my God.
are definitely frowned upon, especially by professional engagements like LinkedIn. So definitely read your terms of service for the end platforms that you're streaming to. You want to make sure you stay well above board for those types of situations. But I agree with you. The ability to have a moment of composure where you can watch the countdown timer and build yourself up, give yourself a couple extra deep breaths. I think that that's only going to build your confidence. And so definitely take advantage of that. Also, secret side note, you can upload your own videos so we have several of our own videos. They're not really countdown timers. They're more like stinger videos where we're promoting a function or the live itself, building up hype. And so that's something that Restream does. We actually do have our own videos that we've created, and you can use Canva or any of those other services to pre-create your own countdown videos and upload those on any of the paid plans of Restream, so that way you have customizable uploads or customizable countdowns. But even the free account has access to the free, product content that we've provided.
Yeah, absolutely. So cool. We have a few more questions. Let's get to them before we wrap up this. I definitely want, and I appreciate all of you for joining us today and staying tuned till the very end. And we want to get to all of your questions. So if you have any questions, you have like 5 minutes, get them in the comments, get them going. I'll let you take this one, Sean.
Absolutely. So I've got this one here. Oh, this is from the King of King Worship Center. Hello, quick question. Not sure if this was answered. I use Sling Studio and use Restream as a third-party device being used. Are we able to use the studio part of Restream to invite visitors? Great question. Sling Studio is a great encoder. It has lots of interesting functionality with things like iPads and different types of remote devices during your stream. So it has lots of really cool features. You're asking whether or not you can incorporate the Restream Studio with Sling Studio. You can. There are options for doing that. You can utilize the the RTMP source of the studio. So that would be taking content from Sling Studio and making it a source in the Restream Studio. Now, that's going to utilize RTMP, the connectivity functionality that's existing in Sling, and you would need to have the premium or business plan of Restream to have access to that feature. There is also a concern around delay. So when you're utilizing an external encoder and you're streaming directly into the studio, there's going to be a 1 to 3 second delay for that content. So just make sure that the people that you're speaking with are aware that there's going to be a little bit of delay. Also, there is not a signal that goes from the studio back to Sling. So there's going to be a difficulty for the people who are in the Sling studio to hear the people coming from the Restream studio. That's why I would recommend not utilizing that functionality and instead use the studio when you need to stream with guests and use Sling Studio when you're doing your normal worship services on a normal Sunday morning.
That's a good idea. And I mean, there's different types of videos like you can do. Like there's the streams and then there's the worship service streams, but then there's also all the community building things you do or the groups or the different things. There's a lot of things you can do.
It's
And then we have
true.
one last question about LinkedIn. I think we use LinkedIn Live, but often see the events get canceled and we have to go back in and restream it again. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Well, LinkedIn is a unique streaming provider. So they do have some rules associated with their media. They definitely want you to start the stream at a specific time. They don't want you to start early. They don't want you to start late. And there's also concerns that can happen if things like the time or date changes on the event on LinkedIn. And sometimes streaming is just volatile. Sometimes there's things that are unexpected and can't even be prepared for. So flexibility and forgiveness are kind of keys when it comes to using new technology. So I would say that if your LinkedIn event gets canceled, contact Restream support. We
Yeah.
have the ability to see into some of the error messages that LinkedIn kind of sends us, but maybe doesn't share with you. So I want to make sure that you're aware that our team's here to support you and we can take big steps with you to make sure that your next event doesn't get canceled. We're
Yeah.
also very, very proficient with the terms of service for the end platforms and can help guide you in ways to prevent any kind of mishaps like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. We can troubleshoot it. And you can see the level of the streaming. You can see the exact moments where something may have dipped, and it's a good idea to like help you with your setup in the future. I wanted to get Sean's question next because this is a big question that I hear a lot, and I think it's worth addressing. So I'm seeing a slight audio video delay using Restream Studio, and I watch myself live, and I notice that when I download my content, my guests don't appear to see what I see. Any suggestions?
So the audio video delay that you're experiencing when you watch yourself live. So this is that situation where you are streaming and you have another browser window open that you're watching your content. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to, Sean. And so I want to make sure that that is correct. If that's the case, that's totally normal. The recording that appears at the end platform, that is from the moment they received the content, being YouTube or Facebook. That media is recorded live, so it's that exact content as it was received. You're the only person who's aware that there's a delay because you're witnessing the creation and the reproduction at the end platform. So that takes at a minimum 3 to 5 seconds to be delivered, processed, and visible. Some cases, especially with YouTube, depending on the quality of your content, it could take up to 5 minutes for the people to be watching it live. So take into account that when you're receiving chats from people, have patience that people are receiving it at their own level, and you don't know what their bandwidth is like. They may have restrictive bandwidth that causes their service or their stream to buffer on their side. So sometimes we just have to take it with as much patience as we can.
So he says the screen in my studio appears off and the downloaded video is also delayed.
Ew, okay, that's very different. I would keep an eye on the left-hand side where the sources are. There's a little icon that looks like a cellular signal or a Wi-Fi signal indicator. You may have a restrictive amount of CPU load or bandwidth being tied to the delay that you're experiencing. If it's in the recording, it happened before Restream received it. So the studio produces the media and sends it to our server for recording. That's the very first thing that happens. So if it's in the recording, we want to find out what's happening to the media before it's received by Restream. Sean, if I could ask, please do go ahead and reach out to the support team. We have logs for your streams to be able to identify if there was any kind of hiccup, and we can make sure to address those with you personally.
Absolutely. Well, I think with that, we've come up to the hour, Sean. We did it. We
We
live
did it.
streamed.
It's success. It was beautiful. What a great experience. Should we risk trying to do a high five?
Yes. Okay.
All
Oh,
right. All
wait.
right.
Are you
Ready?
ready? Ready? High Wi-Fi, high
Oh,
five. Ah!
whoa. It's always so tricky. Make sure you plan and prep. We didn't prep that. So as you could
We
see,
didn't
it
prep.
was a little
It,
bit
it
less
was
less
it,
successful.
it was impromptu, but that's okay. That's the beauty of live stream. You get to you don't know what's happening. So yeah.
It's absolutely true. All right. Thank you all for coming to watch us and for hanging out with us. Some of you for the entire time. We appreciate you greatly. This will also be available as a recording. You'll be able to send it to your friends and family if you have the need to do so. It won't go away anytime soon.
Absolutely. So thank you for joining us today, and we'll be back in August for more fun.
It's true. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.